When I was fat, let me not sugarcoat it, I used to not be so much of a fan of the summertime. My favorite time of the year was winter, not just because it was cold, but obviously because of like Thanksgiving and Christmas time. My least favorite time of the year, I would have to say, would have been fall because I grew up Christian and Christians really didn't like, I don't necessarily think they just didn't like October, but they didn't like that like fall season because it's like spooky, mysterious, like a lot of like weird, different energy compared to like spring and like summer or winter. Fall just had that like spooky vibe. So fall was definitely my least favorite time of the year growing up. And when I got to college, that definitely changed for me because obviously you're in college now and you're partying and you're dressing up and all that shit. So you kind of look at it from a more, ooh, this is fun, not, oh, this is scary. Obviously, it has like scary parts to it, but you don't focus on it. It's more about like having a good time dressing up. So you're more focused on the positive aspects of the Halloween fall season than the whole like, ooh, spooky, although that's obviously a part of it too. But the whole reason why I'm talking about this is because I feel like a lot of people, they base their favorite holiday or favorite season, I should say, by their weight. Not necessarily all the time, but I do think if you are aware, well, I don't really think a lot of people are aware of this, but this is something that I'm just starting to think about myself. I think bigger people are more a fan of the winter time, the fall era when it gets cold, because I think when you're bigger, obviously you have a lot more heat, a lot more body fat, which gives heat. I'm not no fucking biologist or a scientist or whatever, but I think that's kind of like common knowledge. The bigger you are, the hotter you get. And as someone who used to be big, I can definitely attest I hated the fucking summer. I could not stand the fucking summer. Other than the fact that we were out of school, did not fucking like the summer. But then I lost weight and I was able to take my shirt off and not feel like so insecure. Did I have abs, a six pack? No, but bitch, my body was a lot thinner than how it used to be. I definitely did not like the summer until I lost weight. And then my shorts are really like short shorts. I wasn't wearing like knee shorts anymore. I loved it. The winter time when I was bigger, I adored the winter time. Like the winter time was like, I could wear my sweaters. I could wear my fat ass like size 42 jeans and you can't tell me nothing because it's winter time, you know, it's cozy. Everybody is like geared up, you know? So it didn't really matter to me. I just loved the winter time. I could wear my baggy clothes and obviously, yeah, you can still tell that I'm bigger, but everyone's like, you know, bundled up. You're not seeing a nigga walking down the street with a six pack. They get cold. I feel like as someone who can relate, I am starting to be like, ooh, when people say, oh, I love the fall or I love the winter, I kind of look at them and I'm like, ooh, I don't mean to be that person, but is it because you're a little bigger? I feel like if you hear this, you might think I'm like fat shaming because it's not necessarily true. I'm a lot slimmer now, but I still very much like fall and winter. I think that would still definitely be up there, but I can say I no longer despise the summer. I feel like if anything, now that the summer is over, I'm kind of like, ooh, like I got a hint of what seasonal depression was because the sun's going away. So now when I see like the cloudiness and the overcast, I'm kind of like, ew, it's ugly today. But when I was bigger, I didn't have that mindset. I was just like, ooh, it's getting cold. I get to put my sweater on. That's all I cared about. But now it's kind of like, ugh, it's getting cold. Like it's ugly outside. I want some sun. You know, I want to feel the heat on my face. But when I was big, I didn't want to feel the heat on my face because that would cause me to have like sweat on my nose. And when I was bigger, I sweated on my nose a lot. Even though I'm not big, I feel like the first place that I sweat is my nose. But I was definitely insecure about sweating on my nose when I was a lot bigger and younger because in junior high, this girl was roasting me and she says that when I sweat bacon grease. I was already embarrassed, but then she said that to me and I'm just like, wow, bacon grease. So I became super conscious of my nose. So when I'm sweating, people will be like, your nose. I'm like, I gotta go turn away and I go wipe my nose, whatever. I just feel like a lot of the times our favorite season, our favorite holiday is based off of like our like size. You know, I'm not saying because you're fat, you're gonna like Halloween more, but I'm saying chances are majority of people who are bigger like the cold better than the summer. That's all I'm saying. I'm just making conversation here. You know, I'm just having my own epiphany, thinking out loud. I'm like, ooh, this would be a good thing to share. So I mean, you can come for me if you want to, but I'm just speaking my truth. I think now that I'm older though, I don't really have a season that I dislike. I think all seasons come with their own different vibe, has their own different like unique experiences, you know? So I don't really have like my least favorite season because I kind of like all of them if anything, I would say like spring. Like spring is the one because I think springtime is just like that gap of just whatever. March and April, it's just like very blah, like the birth of Christ or the coming of Christ, whatever, the reborn of Christ. There's that. But besides like Easter, it's just pretty like blah. So I guess maybe spring. And I'm not in high school anymore, and I'm not in my like young college era where I'm like, ooh, spring break, you know? So I guess maybe spring would be my least favorite. I think my favorite now though would definitely be fall. Fall, winter, summer, spring. But I definitely like summer a lot more now that I'm slimmer because I don't get as hot. Like obviously I still get hot, but I don't sweat furiously. And even at night I sweat, but it's not like when I was big. So that's just something that I'm like, ooh, that would be a great conversation to have. I wish it was cold with sun. You know, I wish there was cold, but like with sunlight. I think that would be a great combo, but that would also be like hella weird. You know, that wouldn't even make sense. So that was that topic. Let's slide over to the next topic. I've been feeling like I've been missing out a little bit. I think, who the fuck is running up and down the hall? Are we 10? Why is it like 8 p.m. and you're running up and down the hall? You're not the only person who lives in this fucking apartment. Like, walk? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I feel like I've been missing out a lot. And here's the thing. I deleted my Instagram. I want to say it's been more than 6 months now. And I deleted it because I realized that I don't want to say like I was jealous of people who were having a good time. There was a point in my depression phase where I was like pissed that I was depressed and people were turning up. I'm like, bitch, I'm sad and you're turning up. Well, what the fuck is going on? Like, you should be sad with me. Learn that that's not how that works, but it also is there. It's that like misery loves company. I deleted my Instagram because I just felt like I'm scrolling and I'm seeing a whole bunch of people who don't give a fuck about me. And I wouldn't necessarily say I don't give a fuck about them, but I think the thought of them not giving a fuck about me was just like, so why am I following you? I decided to delete my Instagram. And I think I'm also the type of person that like, if I don't like you or I feel like you don't like me, if I see a fire picture of you, I am going to not just be forced to like it, but the energy within me will be tempted to be like, oh my God, you are slaying, bitch. You are eating that shit up, boots down. I will want to comment. And I feel like in order to be aligned, I need to take away that temptation because I won't do it. My ego will not allow me to do it. Like, yes, I want to, but my ego won't let me. And then I'll spend like an hour feeling bad. Like, damn, I should probably just comment. Damn, my ego is the reason why I'm not commenting. So let me just delete it all together. Yes. Do I miss it? Absolutely. Not because I had like a certain amount of followers. Like, yes, that's a thing, because now I feel like if I'm starting over, I'm like, bitch, who the fuck am I gonna follow? Like, I ain't got no friends. They give you like 30 days when you deactivate your account to reactivate it. And so I feel like maybe I should have like deleted it and then reactivated it, but I just like deleted it completely. And sometimes I'm like, fuck. But I also like not having it. But I just feel like I'm 24 and I'm not living my life. Like, I feel like I'm not out clubbing. And I don't want to sound like, oh, if you're not out there clubbing every weekend, you're living a miserable life. But I do feel like people are having a good time and I'm not having that good of a time. I'm not having a bad time, but I think the shit could be a lot fucking better. So I was just like chilling today. I'm like, fuck. Like, there is a tailgate right down the street because I live literally 5 minutes away from school. And there's a tailgate. And although I do feel like, bitch, you're 24, you have no business being at a tailgate. That's not true, because they're like 40-year-olds that I'm sure are at that tailgate with a whole bunch of like freshmen partying, you know? And I just felt like I'm not living anymore. And I do think I'm young. So I'm hoping that I could use this time to develop my frontal lobe and not be so distracted by everyone who is enjoying their life, and just hope and pray that like there is going to be a time that I will get the chance to start enjoying my life again. Because when I was younger, like, when I say younger, because bitch, I'm still pretty young, but let's say like my early teens, no, not early teens, because I would be like 13, 14, 15. So late teens, like 18, 19, early 20s, bitch, I had a grand time. I had a good fucking time. And I refuse to believe I peaked. Like, I don't think I've peaked physically, but as far as like like having a good time, enjoying life. I refuse to like believe that that was my peak. That's insane. I believe another thing that helps me with this whole like, oh, you're not really missing out is a lot of times we compare ourselves to people that we know in real life. Like, yeah, we compare ourselves to rich people, like, oh, I wish I had this, like certain influencers, but we also compare ourselves to people that we went to junior high with, even elementary school, elementary, junior high, but not really elementary school because like it's like that's too young, you know? But like let's say junior high, high school, you're kind of like, ooh, I kind of saw that. Ooh, that's different. Like you shocked me there. I think we're more prone to comparing ourselves to people that we know from school. And one thing that really, I don't want to sound like an asshole when I say this, one thing that really doesn't make me feel like I'm missing out is no one's really doing anything that makes me want to like text you and be like, oh my God, you're doing this really cool thing. Like you're not giving me the urge to want to like be shallow with you, you know? Like, and when I say shallow, I mean that type of person is like, you don't hear it from them from like years for years, and then they randomly hit you up because they see you doing good. There's no one that makes me feel like that. Like, why aren't you making me feel like I want to use you? You know, like it sounds really fucking bad, but I feel like no one makes me want to hit you up like, oh, I'm so proud, like you're doing great, or you're doing something where I can even ask you for your advice, like, how are you doing this? Can you put me on in a certain way? It's none of that. Niggas are having kids. I don't want that. What I mean, we're 24 and we're having kids and we're living with our parents. So it's like no shade. There's no jealousy there. And I wouldn't necessarily expect you to feel the same way about me, you know, because I'm not doing anything grand either, but this is about me. So there's nothing that you people are doing that makes me even feel like I'm missing out on having kids. I will pass. But I think when it comes to having kids, the thing is like when you stay in your same hometown and you do the same thing over and over again and you're meeting the same people, hanging out with the same people, you get bored. I think a lot of people are having kids out of boredom because you don't know what else to do. Like you think this little town and these little people, that's all there is. And you might be comfortable with that. You might not feel the need to go out and make new friends and see the world. But I think when you do everything that you think you've done it all, when you think you've done it all, it's like, oh, what's next? Having a kid. And I really think that's what a lot of people are just doing. They're just like, oh, might as well have a kid. Like, have you tried traveling? Do you want to see the world? Make new friends, see what's out there instead of just having a fucking kid, you know? And like I said, no shade, no shade. I'm just speaking my mind, speaking my truth. But yeah, I just feel like sometimes I'm like missing out. And then I think about old friends and I come across something and I'm just like, maybe I'm doing better than I thought. Yeah, I just learned quickly not to judge a book by its cover because, like I said, when I was super depressed, I used to see people having a good time and I would be like, oh my God, I want to die. Like everyone's living and I'm dying and I'm miserable and I was pissed. But then I also realized people aren't going to show you their shitty lives. Like, yes, you're seeing them every weekend posting, going out, clubbing, you know, getting VIP, whatever. Sure. Like in that moment, I'm pissed. I'm jealous, obviously. But I'm really good with jealousy, but that's like a whole topic for another day. You're jealous and you have all these like mixed feelings and stuff. But one day, like I had this like strong feeling, just like, bitch, that's them this weekend. You have no idea what their life is throughout the week. Because why are they only posting themselves having a good time on the weekend? Do they post themselves, oh guys, I'm having a hard time today? No, they're not. And me, I'm someone who like, I want to share everything. I think that's why it's going to be super hard for me to build relationships because I feel like no one's going to want to, or people are going to be scared that if we have a hard time, I'm not going to come talk to them about it. I'm going to bring our shit to the internet. And I have done that before, but I was mentally ill. I'm a lot saner now and I have learned. So it does scare me because I don't want to like push people away because not everyone is meant for this. This is it. But this is more therapeutic for me. This is like literally about my life. So I think I'm learning how I could balance like relationships and this at the same time. And it's all about boundaries, you know, like I feel like if you're coming into my life and you see what I do and what brings me joy, you kind of know like, okay, hey, I know this is what you love and this is what makes you happy, but we're going to have boundaries. Like, don't talk about our business. If you have a problem with me, bring it to me. But I'm gonna be like, okay, but after we settle it, let's say like I have this idea and I want to share with other people. Can I do that? If you tell me yes, then yeah. But if you tell me no, then I have to like respect it. But I think that's all like a communication thing. But anyway, I feel like this is something that I'm like, if I'm having a good day, I'll share it with you that I'm having a good day. If I'm having a bad day, I'll share it I was having a bad week, I'm having a bad day, whatever the case is. But a lot of people don't do that. They only show you the fun time, they only show you the goodness, the smiles. They never show you them crying, you know? So I really had to like sit with that and be like, wait. And after that, I never looked at someone else's post and been like, oh, they're having a good time and I'm not. No. Were they sometimes? Yes, I'll be like, ooh, that looks like fun. Like, oh, how cute. Like they're doing this. But it's not from a like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, I wish I could do that. But I'm not gonna sit there and let it turn me into a bitter bitch. You know, once I feel like I'm getting bitter about something and I'm feeling jealous about something, I am gonna go take a run. You know, I'm gonna journal about it. I'm going to do what I can so that jealousy doesn't turn into ugliness because we're human, so we are gonna get jealous. You know, that's one thing that I've learned. Like, jealousy isn't something that you have to be like, oh, I never get jealous. Oh, I never. No, use it. Use your jealousy. If I see someone's living a life that I want to live, doing something that I want to do, I'll write it down. Like, oh, this is a good idea. I'm gonna travel here. But it's not like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. I should be like, not you, me. You know, you shouldn't live like that. We shouldn't be like that. I yapped for about 20 minutes and I hope you enjoyed every minute of it. Thanks for listening. I will see you guys in the next video. I wonder what we're gonna yap about next. Peace.